Dimensional's been designed to ensure that you don't get any feeling of nausea as you play in the game, and the way it does that is to allow you to create a grid on the floor where you can physically move around, and then you can teleport that grid around, and that works really well. But some users have already become accustomed to using analog sticks as you do in traditional games to move around a level, and they do prefer that. So I've now added optional controls. For most of you, I'd still recommend just carrying using teleporting, but if you really do prefer to move around using the analog controls, which can create nausea, then you can do that now. And the approach I've taken in Dimensional is that if you can see the grid on the floor, you're gonna drive that around a level as though you're driving a vehicle. So if I hold a shoulder button down, you'll see I'll get some indicators displayed. So they're just highlighting where the front of this imaginary vehicle is. So now once I've got that in place, I can use the analog controls to move around. And I can still use physical movement as well and teleporting. So it's kind of up to the player, the approaches they use to explore. So I'm going to play some bits of the level now, using a combination of these techniques. So to get over a wall, obviously I'm not going to physically climb over that, so we're going to use teleporting to get over there.
Get used to moving around your grid. Sometimes you'll need to crouch or lean to see the way forward.
Now it's still very much a standing game, so here I'm going to need to duck down to see through the gap, and I'll need to teleport through here. So you can see there's always going to be teleporting involved just to get over things like this, but then we can go back to using the FPS controls. Now at this point, if I use the normal teleporting technique, make sure that I'm positioned within my grid. I've got enough room to walk under these spikes. So you can see all we have to do is move this green icon over the go. Now there's plenty of room in my grid to step through this shield, so you can't teleport through the shields. Now if I use my FPS controls to do that, so if I'm standing near the front and drive towards it, duck down and crash into the shield, so you can't drive through that, it's still going to make me use physical movement. So what I'll do is take a step back, drive through a little bit more, and it's just up to me now to make sure I've got enough room to step through there. This is another example where we still use a teleport mechanism, and if I engage my FPS controls I can still move around the room. But you can see we've got the sparkles on the floor telling us that we really ought to be teleporting there. And what this does is it ensures that the grid on the floor is in the right position.
Watch out! Stay on your grid or dodge those lasers.
So in this case it's making sure that the angle and the space is right so that I can actually dodge these lasers. But it could be that it just wants you in a certain position to interact with a particular object as well. And now I can go back to using the FPS controls. Just to point out as well, because it's like you're driving a vehicle, I can be going forwards with the controls and still looking around as I'm doing that. So it doesn't actually follow the head movement, it's following where the arrows are pointing towards.